as Jeremy Kramer is writing this really beautiful byline about you in the Boston Globe, you're writing on LinkedIn that you're having an entire shifting and understanding of who you are. And you're talking about things like burnout and pondering and thinking about how do I still show up as a leader for not just the 40 people who work for you at Breaktime, but for the constituency that you represent if you have nothing to give because you're so burned out, you're so tired, you're so in search of funding, support, all those things. And I thought that was a very interesting juxtaposition that while you're buying a building, it's a big story in the governmental nonprofit world, there's a internal personal reckoning going on for you. And I wonder how your life has changed and led you to that point over the last 8 years.
I think the dissonance between what happens in my work life and what happens in my personal life has ballooned and grown substantially at different parts of my life and my journey, particularly over the last 8 years. You would think that as Breaktime was buying the building, as this Globe piece were coming out, that I'm riding the high of that and I'm doing perfectly well and everything's great. But we're all dealing with our own stuff outside of whatever's happening in work. And it's always up and down. What's been so interesting to me is to have an experience like the Globe piece and just the reaction to it, where, you're being celebrated and it's exciting and it's big and it's awesome. And then to go home and sit with and reckon with all the things you're working through personally. And that disconnect has always been challenging to navigate. But what I've learned through that is the importance of giving time and energy to both your career and to your life. Because when you neglect one, the gap between what's happening in one part of your life and what's happening in another just continues to grow. And it's a dissonance that's so hard to live with because you're just flipping a switch when you go home and you're flipping a switch back on when you go to work. And it just feels weird. And so I think what I've been able to do is to sort of heal that dissonance a little bit. I'm so inspired by my coworkers. I'm so inspired by the young people I work with. The 444 young adults that Breaktime supported last year who come so authentically and so vulnerably to share their experience and to share who they are. And I'm trying to do that in my own way. I already have done a lot of work to embrace my youth and to embrace sort of the unique place in life that I'm at. But I'm trying to bring the quirks of my personality and the things that make me uniquely me as a human into my work too, because I find that especially as my position of power has changed and grown within the context of my own organization, but also within the community, that the biggest thing that I want from people of power is authenticity and honesty. So I got to embody that and I just got to be fully me. And so that's meant everything from the last couple of years, going to work with my nails painted because it's something I love. And I've seen it kind of take off in the office a bit and more people doing it, or just cracking jokes with coworkers make me just feel a little bit more relatable and human, or being honest about my emotions, being like, I'm really struggling right now. I said last week to my team, I was like, this is a hard time for me right now. And I am not at my personal best. And so I appreciate your patience and flexibility as I go through this. In the past, I would have buried and hid that stuff as much as I could when I got to work. And so I'm excited to continue to be more authentically myself in the workplace. Obviously, to a professional extent and with the boundaries that are healthy and important to maintaining the best possible workspace. Being authentic and honest is really important to me, and I'm trying and aspiring to do that more and more in my leadership. And at home, bringing that rigor and that energy and that discipline I bring to my work, to my life, and being honest with myself that to achieve certain goals, I need to be more disciplined. I need to have more rigor, and I have to treat it with the same importance. I think sometimes we treat our job, even if we say we don't, we give our energy in a way that asserts that our job is the most important thing in the world. And if we don't bring that back to our life, we're always going to be behind on our goals and we're always going to feel bad about it. And so I'm really trying to shift that